What's up, everybody? It's We Are Live. Chris Denman in St. Louis, and it's Mid-Coast Studio. That's right, Grand Center. And today, very special show. My buddy TK Kelly's here from Los Angeles. What's up, man?
What is going on, dude? Thanks for having me.
Dude, so fun to have you. It went from, we joked about this 5 seconds ago. Hey, TK, you're going to be in town for some comedy dates. You want to maybe pop on the podcast? You can meet Travis, hang out with Tommy the intern, all this stuff, and you can just stop by for a little fun. And it's changed into welcome to 2 hours with Chris.
Yeah, it's a real burden. I got to be honest.
It certainly
getting up early. I got to carry the load of this show now. I bear this weight. We'll be all right.
He bears a lot of weight where he works as a staff writer on Tosh.0. You know that show from Comedy Central. Stand-up comedian, all things comedy podcast. Lots going on, man. So we're going to bug him about his life, what's been happening in St. Louis. Had a show at the Funny Bone last night. It was great. Great crowd for a Sunday. Wonderful show. But first, let's say hello to one Chris Gardner. He's the producer and curator of polls. Good morning.
Good morning, gentlemen.
So formal.
Yeah, right? That's how we do it. He gets very, very particular about his intros.
And good morning, walnuts.
Yeah, I thought maybe we'd dodge this today, but I guess, hey, what's up, walnuts?
No, you wanted to.
I did, and I hate it, personally.
Yeah.
It's an affront that offends
The
me.
walnuts are our fans, TK.
The walnuts.
Oh, boy.
I like it.
That's a small tree, man. That is a small
Somewhere there's
nut-bearing
3
tree.
people like, wait, that's us, guys.
Yeah, woo! In the
And
comment.
there are. Yeah.
Yeah, there certainly are. We take your Facebook comments. We get into lots of stuff. It's been a fun weekend. You have a Stanley Cup final in St. Louis tonight. Man, lots to get into. Gardner, how was your weekend? You always, I was trying to explain to TK as we pulled into an empty parking lot this morning. I was like, oh no, Chris is here. There's a scooter parked over there.
Mm-hmm.
And
Just the one lonely scooter. Like, it's very quiet,
In the
and then
parking
just
lot.
the one scooter laying on its side.
Yeah.
I'm a little upset with the local electric scooter companies because
Which ones? Let's name them. Name names.
Bird, Spin, and Lime Scooter.
Mm-hmm.
I've been Lime Scooter loyal with all these companies in town. And this morning I was looking for a scooter, and there wasn't one as close to my apartment as I had hoped. So I had to walk about 10 to 12 minutes to a scooter.
Ooh, TK, that's a lot.
At that point, you just keep walking, right? Just
I was in the direction to work.
You're like 30, you could see the building. And
Yeah,
it's just
like,
like, I
how
don't
do
know if
I-
this makes sense.
But my stubbornness would not allow that. It would not allow that. And I finally found a scooter and was able to take it down here. So it was a little bit cheaper. The prices have gone up too. Lime's like doubled their price.
You written any letters yet?
No, I mean, I guess their business model isn't that great.
Yeah.
All the electric scooter companies are kind of struggling in that way. So they got to...
Not because of you.
No, I mean, I'm...
5-day-a-week rider.
Yeah, I should get like those, I have a coffee card at one of the places, and punch card or whatever for free. I should get more free rides than I do, but I don't. There was an incident over the weekend though, not involving me with an
TK,
electric
pay attention.
scooter.
Pay attention. This sounds good.
My girlfriend likes to ride her bike around Forest Park. She'll go once or twice around. Over the weekend, she's coming around a corner, and a kid on a Lime scooter was going a little fast, crashed into my girlfriend Jess
Are you
on the
serious?
Lime scooter, knocked her off. There was a dad rollerblading and a kid on his bike behind her. The kid on the bike then crashed into her, and now she's got bruises on her legs, and she's a little upset about it. And I got a text immediately about how much she hates Lime scooter people now, and I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do?
That's probably why the price is going up. All of the lawsuits. Those things are a mess, man. It's such an interesting look at how quickly something can come and go. Like when they first showed up, they're everywhere. They're super accessible. But then I felt like, I don't know how it was here, but LA started really cracking down on like regulations and rules because people were getting taken out.
And I understand that, but I'm using it to transport
I'm a
myself
responsible driver,
from
yeah.
apartment
Yeah.
to work,
Yeah.
from one place to another.
Yeah.
I go off to the side of the road when cars are coming. I'll stop at the intersection. I let all the other cars go. I don't pretend.
People get to enjoy your custom helmet.
Yeah, I have my own custom helmet. I don't even pretend I'm a pedestrian walking on that thing. Like I don't go across through the crosswalk as though I'm a person walking even. I let everyone else go. I'm just trying to get from one place to another without exerting as much energy as I don't
Yeah.
want to. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that life. But there's a few things here lately that are an issue. And Jess is now mad at people that ride scooters. So that is my community,
So
apparently.
you're just one of them to
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. So are you now? Do you have to join the fight against Big Scooter?
No,
Okay.
because I'm trying to get that scooter gang going. So she's aware of that. And there was an issue over the weekend. But I have to be very attentive to her right now to kind of smooth things over between the cycling community and the electric scooter community after the incident in Forest Park. But that's where we stand as of this morning.
What a weekend. What a weekend.
Yeah.
Here I thought maybe you'd have some kind of decadent food story. Chris has been sober for a number of years, so I like to find out what he does with his life.
So what is it you're doing?
Yeah.
Somebody asked me about that at my local watering hole on Saturday. They're like, how long has it been now? And I'm like, it'll be 6 years on
He
June
still
24th.
hangs out. He
That's
still
great,
hangs
man.
out at a dive bar every single day.
And they're like, oh, that's great. And I go, yeah, for you.
Yeah.
Now, this is miserable.
Why do I keep coming back
I
here?
feel everything. I hear everything. I see everything. I have no escape.
That's dark, man.
I've tried pot, and then I get anxiety from using pot. I'm like, what kind of weirdo gets anxiety using pot?
We've got some comments. What do you do when it rains, Gardner?
If I'm going to work, it's just, if it's a sprinkle, I'll still go. Got to be careful with the brakes then.
Okay.
Because you will slide on those things, and they slide from the back. I found that out one morning when a car pulled out in front of me. And
Did you eat it?
no, it came close though. I've only fallen off the one time, and I fell off because I was going too slow,
Okay.
and that was embarrassing.
Not to
because
pick
I
on
didn't
you.
just step off the scooter once again. I went down with the scooter for some reason, and I still don't know why my brain decided to make that decision.
You forgot you're not in a car. It's
Yes.
like, oh, I can just step off of
Right.
this vehicle. It's good. That's cool.
That's what bothered me the most. And I should have been embarrassed about falling. I'm more embarrassed that the process that my brain went through said, yeah, go down with the scooter.
Right. That bothers
It's
me.
stupid.
Yeah. More comments from Burge as Chris looked into purchasing his own scooter.
I've thought about it. We're not there yet, but it's at least under consideration.
You're rolling in all that sweet podcast producer money.
Yeah.
I think you can afford your own scooter.
I got to remember to charge it and everything like that
Yeah.
too. So
What if instead we got you a custom golf cart?
Oh,
You know how we could do that?
I would enjoy that. I
We
think
could
all
go
know
to a
that.
web address, getawaycarts.com. That's right. St. Louis custom golf carts, baby.
was
TK,
smooth.
you don't know nothing about these live reads, do you? Getawaycarts.com is the website. Hashtag carte blanche. We'll have to explain what carte blanche means to TK during the show today. Hashtag customize without limits. That's right. Custom golf carts for you and yours. Getawaycarts.com. Drive them around on the hill. TK, that's the Italian neighborhood here in town. Perfect for golf cart cruising.
Is
my
that
man.
is that the only place they're legal? Street legal? Is that?
You know what? I don't think technically they're legal anywhere in the city of St. Louis, but the cops are a little bit busy.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
no
yeah.
one ever stops. Yeah.
No time to worry about the old Italian men in velour jumpsuits riding around their
There
golf
are.
carts.
They are there. I kind of want to just go sit down with TK on a bench later today and be like, I told you this still happens. The only pedestrians he has in Los Angeles are typhoid-ridden
I
hobos.
remember seeing that stereotypical Italian man that you just described once, going to a sandwich shop.
Oh,
in,
yeah. Oh, yeah.
in,
That's where they go.
And
on
then-
the hill. Right, I was getting the sandwich right as they were closing. It was like, I can't remember what time it was. But so I know they're closing and I'm the only one there. And one old man after another comes in and goes down the stairs. And I'm like, what the hell's going on down
Maybe
there?
stop asking questions.
And then I needed
certain
to-
sandwiches might not be their main business.
And then I needed to use the restroom before I left, so I went down that's where the restroom was, used the restroom, came out and kind of peeked around, realized after hours, I guess they were getting a little poker game.
Oh
getting
yeah,
going.
old
And
man
so-
social club.
Yeah,
man. That's
so
a,
I was
that's
like,
a New
"Oh,
York
this is-"
staple.
I was like, this is actually quite pleasant. I like this.
TK's originally from New York. We got to have some questions about that. Again, we need to cross-check. Travis has been in New York a month and considers himself a New Yorker now. So
Oh,
we're going
yeah.
to cross-reference a few things
All
we've
right,
been
all
told and find those out. We do a segment called Fair or Foul at the end of the show every day. We give people a topic. They send us an email, a sentence, a paragraph on said topic. Today we'll give you $25 to Antonino's on the Hill as a prize. Your theme, if I may, Gardner. I'll take it.
Yes.
Fair or foul today. A St. Louis themed summer blockbuster movie. What's the name of your podcast, DK?
What's the name of my podcast? That is the Movie Night Podcast.
That's right, with
On All
Dwayne
Things
Haskins.
Comedy.
Did I get that wrong?
Dwayne Perkins.
Perkins. I keep getting Haskins in there. I really like that last name.
Haskins. Sounds familiar.
Small forward for Indiana in '93 or something.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know.
No, I think he was the quarterback for Ohio State.
Yeah, there
Oh,
it is.
yes,
And then got-
you're right.
yeah.
Dwayne Perkins is a very funny comic. TK does Movie Night Podcast on All Things Comedy, which the great Bill Burr started. So
Yes.
that's we like to bring some association to that. Either way, in note of TK being here in town, he's a movie guy. So a St. Louis themed summer blockbuster movie. Get your emails in to WAL@weareliveradio.com. We'll pick the best one. We'll give you $25 to Anthonino's on the Hill if you're picked for that. Chris, you also have a poll today. What's going on?
Yeah, I thought we'd do one with the sports weekend we had here in St. Louis.
This is the Cardinals' new lucky charm, by the way.
Oh, really?
I'm a lifetime Cardinals fan. I don't know if you know. No,
we need to explain that also.
Yeah, we went
Yeah.
to the game over the weekend and got a little guff from some locals about where our seats were. They were
They're in the wheelchair accessible 100 level
Yeah.
seats, but they're,
unintentionally.
they're
Just
they're
bought
on
'em on
StubHub. Yeah, and they have the fold out chairs there, right?
Yeah.
So TK has a seat, and we see some people get kind of upset.
There was
when
an older couple that was a couple seats down that was getting kind of bumped out because they weren't their seats and they were just sitting there. And when people with the tickets started showing up, they were like, "Well, are you guys lifetimers?" We're like, "I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna say no because I just got here last night." But it was great though. It was a fun game.
Very fun game. Friday
Matt
night.
Carpenter
you-
hit a walk off. It was
Yeah.
great.
They gave you the lifetimer line?
What is
Yeah.
that? What does that mean? Because the people sitting. So
It's probably
we
an,
literally picked
it's
up
an
$12
arrogant
tickets.
Cardinal fan.
They were also like 90. They were lifetimers on the
Something.
planet.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
an arrogant Cardinal fan that is basically saying, "Well, how long have you liked the team?"
It was an odd thing to get mad when I was just like, but those aren't your seats though, right? Like
Yeah.
you're not. So
It
like,
doesn't
can
matter.
Can you
Yeah.
be mad at us?
Right, and that's what I was like. Are you mad at capitalism
Yes.
or like the,
You're
the
like-
ticketing?
They could be. I mean, they could be mad at capital.
Yeah.
Certainly,
But
and I should have engaged them in that
Like-
conversation.
I'm just, I don't know. I understand where some of that comes from. That's the B-fib in them, the best fans in
Familiar
baseball.
with that term? Okay, yeah.
And that's when it gets annoying when people react or talk like that. That's when the B-fib gets the reputation they do. Is when they have that kind of attitude. Because I'm sure on StubHub you didn't have to check a box lifetime fan when
do I get
buying
a
it.
discount if
Yeah.
I've been loyal to the team?
Oh, you can't have these seats then. No,
No,
you
they were-
can't have these
He
seats.
says yes, and then they're like, "We actually have photo evidence of
Basically-
you at a Yankees game in 1988."
Lies.
How do you explain this?
Basically, what it really might come down to, though, is old people upset they have to keep moving.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And honestly, like they said one thing, they walked away. I beat the shit out of the old guy. He was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah,
But
Deserved it.
I cheered him on.
otherwise, the fans were perfectly lovely. Great game.
Oh, it was a fantastic game,
time.
and then and we stayed till the end too. I was actually a Friday night extra innings game. It was
Yeah.
pretty full at the end of the game, so I was happy with that. I'm trying to think. So you grew up in New York, TK.
Yeah.
How would you rate the experience? We both laughed about Chavez games, Chavez Ravine games, with Dodger games, with
Yeah.
people showing up
Oh.
late, leaving early, all that good stuff. Sorry, the poll. Before
Real
we
quick,
jump in.
yeah, I just realized that myself.
And I will forget if we don't jump to it.
The poll question. Okay, so we had the Boston Bruins in town. We had the Chicago Cubs in town. Boston sports fans, Chicago sports fans. St. Louis has a history with both. I know New York fans have a certain history with one particular city. So the question, which city sports fans do you dislike more, Boston or Chicago?
I mean, I'm not going to tell people how to pick. But Boston is the worst place on the planet. It is the worst city in America.
I mean, if you guys want to get on TK's good side,
Yeah.
you know, maybe that's how you're going to take care of it. So check that out on Twitter at We Are Live Radio on Twitter for that. I think Chicago's going to run away with it with mostly St. Louis people checking in,
Yeah.
but I think the true answer is Boston though, because we're seeing a little bit of that. It's all personified in one of your favorites, Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. I see how people get fired up. Boy, that guy has mastered
he's in town right
obnoxious.
now.
That's what I
Yes.
saw.
Yeah.
I saw, and you know what? I don't know enough about Barstool to go in on like, are they this or are they that? But the tiny bit of stuff I've seen, whatever it is, that guy knows how to ignite people one or the other side. And I'm not saying that's even a good thing. It's just,
Right.
man,
Yeah.
wow.
Well, look. Boston has earned their reputation as a sports. I mean, to their credit, man, they support their teams like maybe better than any other city. But good Lord, there's a line, people. Take it easy. You're monsters.
And well, there's also the thing too where it's like, just recently they've become like championship city.
Oh, it's
Don't
the
get me
worst.
like they had their run, the
nuts.
Bruins
Their
and
arrogance.
Celtics and all that. But
Oh,
like,
it's been 165 days without a championship. What are we going to
worst.
do?
The worst. It was a lot easier to deal with them before the entitlement came. Like when for such a long portion of my life, I remember the Red Sox as like this. Yeah, sure, there are rivals, but like they didn't matter that much for a long time. It was really like the Baltimore Orioles were who the Yankees worried about in division. And then all of a sudden, Boston was amazing again after like 2000, and then football too. It was just, I mean, how long were the Pats just a non-entity? They were one of the worst teams in the league for years.
They got Drew Bledsoe because they were so bad, right?
Yeah, like and it's unreal. I mean, the turnaround is impressive in all of the sports. It's been it's a run, man.
Yeah.
God, I hate him.
It's infuriating.
It certainly is.
No, it's not infuriating. It's just extremely annoying.
Yeah.
Extremely annoying.
Are we going to see extremely annoying tonight? Either way, Blues or Bruins win?
Man.
I feel like this game has gotta go the Blues way. If you go down 3-1,
got Gary Clark Jr. out in the street. You're going to lose in front of Gary Clark
not
Jr.
in front of Gary, guys.
Don't do this.
on.
Don't embarrass me.
You know all these rural Canadian guys on the hockey team love Gary Clark Jr.'s woke new album.
Where's Lil Nas at?
I think you have to, right? Like
It's
you got to
gotta-
tie it up just for morale's sake.
Yeah, if you go down 3-1, you start to get into that mentality of like this team is better than us, and we're going back to their place. We are screwed.
The Blues' trend has been to win a game like this.
Yeah, they've been playing well
So-
this playoff series.
I don't know if you want to.
Well, I'm pulling for you guys because I don't know if I mentioned it, but I hate everything. So go Blues, baby.
That's right. One more comment before we move on from it. I don't want to forget it. The Black Sheep regular commenter says, from your girlfriend being attacked earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe the scooter gang has already started, and your girlfriend was the first gang-on-gang hit.
Oh, no.
See.
So
You
is there
didn't
another
think of that,
gang?
did you? No, yeah.
That's
they're
coming
ahead of-
at me?
It's like how the police have to up their weapons, right? You are going to have to get ahead of the gang, man.
They broke the rule then. You don't go after family. You cannot do that.
It's true. It's true.
I
Even
mean-
even in a blood war between scooters and bicyclists, you
That
you
is-
don't go after family.
No, that has crossed a line. That has crossed a line if that's the case. If I find that out, shame on you.
Oh, wow.
That was harsh, guys.
Yeah.
That was hard.
You're not going to invite them. Are you going to invite TK to a pizza buffet lunch today? Is that what, so he'll scooter. The great Lou Ferrigno, you familiar with him?
I am absolutely familiar
certainly you are. Was sitting in the chair you're sitting in.
Oh
and
my God! I feel
you
this
should.
is
You should feel
that's
pretty
big.
great. It
I also
is.
feel tiny.
Yes. I'll never that was the first thing I did. I was like, "Hey Lou, I got some big paws on me. Let's see yours." And his were like half a finger long. I was like, "That's not shouldn't be possible."
No, he's like, I played not a human, like, because I'm just bigger enough to be like, yeah, I could buy that.
Yeah.
He might not be human.
They didn't need CGI for Lou. Lou sat in that very seat, and we sadly informed him that Mr. Gardner was on his scooter all the time. Lou Ferrigno advised against scooter use, and Gardner still takes his scooter to go eat at pizza buffets for lunch. Like
Yeah,
this is.
because Lou had recently fallen off one, it seemed. So.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That must have been a sight.
Can you imagine that happening in your neighborhood?
Like if you saw it happen, how long would it take for you to believe you just saw it happen?
Yeah.
Like at least a full few days before you're like, it was Lou Ferrigno, right? Like it was definitely Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah, if it's Lou Ferrigno, I'd be like, Is he gonna get mad?
He
Oh,
just
no. Is he
freaks
mad
out.
at the scooter?
Snaps the scooter over his knee.
God! Start running. Let me video. I'm running away.
Some extremely handsome and very well kept 67-year-old man just ate shit in front of the house.
What was he doing on a scooter? Come on, Lou.
happening? Tom in the comments. Boston is also the only city that had bars that required me to have 2 forms of photo ID and wouldn't sell me a pitcher of beer that I intended to consume on my own. What?
Wow.
Yes, that is one thing that I
Northeastern correspondent TK Keller.
cannot
Break it
stand
down.
about Boston. They make it really hard for you, and I guess they do have to make it hard for people to drink there because they're all monsters, and they want to keep them sober-ish.
I don't
But
see
it
the
is-
problem.
Oh, it's, you need several forms of ID. You're from out of town. It's like you're really inconveniencing them. The bar's closed too early. I got a litany of issues with this place.
Is Boston not unlike one neighborhood in particular here where they're so ingrained into their pseudo-Irish heritage that they're like racist towards other whites?
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
is that,
Boston
I
has-
bet you're not Catholic, are
Yeah,
you?
yeah.
It's like, what?
They've perfected racism, man. They're
On
crushing
all
it.
levels.
You think the South mastered it? No, Boston.
It's
that's
kind of
where it's at.
I mean, we have our issues here. It is kind of like marijuana, though. There's different strains of it,
Oh yeah, sure.
and some of them are more potent in different ways.
Yes,
I guess.
And there are definitely certain neighborhoods in Boston, as like any kind of out of towner. That's not where you go hang out anyway. You don't want to be around the Afflecks.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I can see that.
I'm trying to just think about. I've never walked through the streets there, but I'm just getting a mindset for it and how it goes. And
It's a beautiful city.
yeah.
Just
Is it
full
funny
of
that it's
terrible
full
people.
of education,
Yes.
of higher education
Oh,
as well? With
the dichotomy there of like, I mean, that fuels like the hatred for everyone from out of town.
Yeah.
Is anyone local there is like,
Townie
oh, you think you're
times
better
10.
than me, college boy? And it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm sorry. I'm not from this 10 square block area.
Leave me
in
alone. I go to
Boston.
Tufts. Okay?
And it is such a college town. There's so many schools there, and it's a fun city. It's beautiful. Just you gotta get rid of all the people. That's all. That's cool.
They just tell you whatever you.
I'm never gonna be able to go play Boston. I can't.
Right,
Because
guys.
I've always wondered what happens to like a sports fan like Boston, and that we're starting to see now when entitlement does come your way, and the Cubs fans are the same way.
Mhm.
Like their identity was so wrapped up in
Yeah.
the lovable loser types that you wonder, okay, so what happens when they do win and they have won, and they turn quickly
Yes.
to cocky, arrogant
Oh,
assholes,
so arrogant.
massholes in the
Yep.
Boston case. And it happens at the snap. There is not a lot of time in between.
No.
And
You would have thought as soon as the Red Sox won that they had just been winning.
Yeah.
Like, for
Oh, for
decades.
sure.
It was just.
It was like, hey, we've been
get
waiting
it.
to be
Exactly.
assholes.
It's finally time.
You can't let them. You got to take it away from them tonight. You can't let them have
Yeah.
that lead when you're going to go back, and it's not something
I'm not going to
participate
go. I always get upset when I hear the must-win phrase tagged on a game, because unless it is an elimination game, it is not a must-win. I mean, just by technicality. I mean, that's why you watch. You know that the percentages are not in your favor, but okay. Like if someone said this was a must-win game tonight and they lost, are you just done watching them for the rest?
Exactly.
No, you're not, because you
it-
don't know what's going to happen.
So overused, and especially in hockey. Like hockey's one of the few sports where a comeback is very realistic in a series, even being down by a
It's
lot.
insane, actually.
But like,
yeah.
it's out of control. I think Chauncey Billups called Game 1 a must-win for the Raptors in the NBA Finals. It was like, I mean, I know what you're saying because the Warriors are great, but it's Game 1. You fundamentally don't understand the term. Like, it's crazy. It's a must play. They must play.
Yes.
It is required
I
by
like
their
that.
contract.
Yes,
stated,
they're contractually obligated
I want to
to
see
play.
someone on NHL Network do that, like with confidence, say it. It's a must-play game tonight.
It's a must try. They're going to have to put some effort in, at least.
They certainly will. Another comment. Danny is saying something's missing this morning. Oh, it's not having the TNT, Travis and Tommy boys, interrupting every 2 seconds.
Oh, TNT.
Yeah, TNT. Tommy had a big weekend of comedy at the Funny Bone, and TK jumped on that show last night.
I did.
So I was there, and I said, Tommy, why don't you take tomorrow off, and you can come in Tuesday and get things done. Oh no, I'll be there. 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 I saw it. He had that look in his eye, Chris.
Yeah.
He had that look. I was like,
Did
you're
he
gonna go get tacos after
Did he
this.
have a shot of Jameson?
And I got a text at 6:30 this morning, politely asking if my offer still stood.
A negotiation?
I was like,
I didn't know that was an option.
Yeah,
I would have.
yeah, TK would have taken that offer too.
6:30. I was like, yeah, I don't know about this.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So no Tommy. Travis is traveling today, and also in a very timely manner let us know he wouldn't be available. So no Travis.
I will give him this. He did it a lot better than in the past.
Okay, yeah. Instead of 7 minutes into when he was supposed to be on.
Instead of commenting on the, oh, by the way, I'm not going to make it.
That's perfect, man.
So we actually had some time to figure things out if need be. So I
Figure things
I'm
out
okay.
equals I know TK is talented enough to hang out with me for 2 hours,
Yes.
and we're not going to hate life.
We were
Yeah,
comfortable.
We'll be all right.
Yeah, well, we were. You are never comfortable, Gardner.
No,
There's
I'm
that.
often in conflict, as I always said. That's my only comfort is
State
conflict.
of being.
Yeah.
I like it.
If it's not there, then what the hell am I doing here? What are we doing?
I want to dork out with TK about some comedy stuff, but first I got to tell you guys about Buzz's Hawaiian Grill. It's a food truck, TK. We need to hook you up with this. Poke, masubi, all the legit stuff. That is exactly right. You see the photo there, TK? That's Buzz, and he owns it with his family. He pays for extra fresh food, so everything's legit, delicious, and it's all around town. Check out their Facebook page. That's Buzz's Hawaiian Grill, kick-ass food truck right here in St. Louis. You can check that out. They have some big news coming, too. They got a TV show that they're going to be a part of, and I'm really excited for them because we obviously created the buzz around that. Pun intended.
Was it?
It wasn't.
Didn't
It
seem like it
certainly
was.
wasn't. So again, shout out to Buzz and the team. Let's see. Birch in the comments. Travis is an hour ahead of us. Don't give him too much credit. So TK, you grew up in New York.
Yeah.
You've been in Los Angeles for how long now?
Just about 10 years.
Oh man, how has it worn on you? Are you? Do you still hold your New York roots? Like, what's going on, man?
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's been such a long time, and it's gone by so quickly that kind of speaks to. I will say, for all the hate LA gets, it's an easy place to live, man. It's nice. It's nice all the time. It's traffic sucks, but that's kind of because people want to live there, right? Like, there's a lot of people, but I love it. And I always be a New Yorker at heart. I would love to be back in New York someday. I always say if I was just doing stand-up, I'd probably be back there. It's the best place in the world to do stand-up.
Yeah, it seems like that. I mean, our friends that are up there, they're just working every night. I'm like, that's your life. You go hang out at the
It's so fun, man.
at the Comedy Cellar, and 8 million super great stand-ups are going to pop in. You've always got a full crowd, and it's just legit.
And it's such a great it's such a great audience town. The people in the audiences are so prepared to enjoy a show. They get how to enjoy a stand-up show. By and large, there's not a lot of like people sitting there with their arms folded and like dismissive and checking
finishing
their
your
phones
punchlines
and stuff. Yeah, oh my God. Finishing my punchlines.
Yeah.
For all of you listeners out there.
Yeah, go ahead.
When
Give
you're
us some
at
advice.
a stand-up show and
Okay.
a comic pauses to deliver a
right that camera
punchline,
right
to
over there.
deliver a punchline, don't shout out your best guess at what their punchline is about to be. Some lovely gentleman kept doing that last night at the Funny Bone, and I had to stop and admonish him like a small child. It was a good time.
Which actually opened up the crowd
Oh,
more
they
than
loved
any
it.
of your
They
material
loved
did.
it more than anything else I did. They were like, "Yeah, tell him." I was like, "Kill him." I'm like, "Oh man, you guys want it.
I
You
like
guys
this
want the
idea
conflict."
though. Like it seems like a choose your own adventure
Exactly.
stand-up comedy
Oh,
thing.
Right.
It was
Like,
great.
whoa,
I'm like, you know what
okay.
you're not doing? Ruining my set. Whew.
And then Thursday, just as a recap too, so TK is here. He's doing some dates in the Midwest, and then headed over to D.C., Kentucky, all these great places. Did our show Thursday, Southtown Pub.
Fun show.
Huge thanks to all you guys that came out to that. That was packed, and the performers did fantastic. Everybody was super funny, and that was a really, think about that. It was a bar crowd. That was a good crowd.
Oh
on
yeah.
Thursday.
I mean,
Yeah,
when you
everybody
can
was-
get that's you got a great setup over there for when you're coming to a bar as a comic to do a show, you worry about all the things that could be wrong with it. But
yeah, it's just
having
chaos.
having that separate upstairs room and just even the build of that room is like it works very well for stand up, and it was great to see a packed room. It was awesome.
It was fun. It was cool to mix in some. We had another performer from New York stop by. She was great as well. But so you move out to Los Angeles. What took you to LA initially?
Winter. That was just like, this is the worst. Yeah, I was just kind of done there. I wasn't doing anything comedy related really.
So you graduate college. You're in New
Graduated
York.
college. I had like a regular job in New York. I was a financial recruiter.
Ooh.
I mean, how I got that job, I'll never know.
That's the passion that you showed during that job
my
had to be top level.
I mean, the amount of nothing that I did for 2 years was astonishing. I worked at one place for a year. I was kind of just, I was the low guy on the totem pole doing the grunt work, whatever, just regular office work. Hated it, but at the time, my priority was like, I'm just trying to make enough money to drink every night, basically. It was in New York as a young guy.
Super cheap in New York, yeah.
But then I somehow got hired at some other company to be their like internal recruiter, and it was right when the economy crashed.
Oh, great.
So
That didn't affect New York much.
my
did it?
job was basically to call people and be like, hey, I got this other job. They're like, you think I'm going to leave my job voluntarily? Are you out of your mind? I had an office. It was a whole thing. I just stopped doing anything for a year. I didn't do anything. I used to close my door and just like watch Netflix back when like Netflix was hard copy DVDs.
You had them getting delivered to your office. You're like,
It was-
I'm not even hiding it anymore.
It was terrible. I didn't know what I was doing. I don't know how I got the job. And at the end of the year, my boss was just like, so we're going to just kind of sever ties. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the responsible thing to do.
Right.
I've done nothing. They gave me a company phone, and literally the only thing I ever used it for was to prank my best friend in New York who didn't know I had this other number. So I kept texting him, like, vivid details about what he was wearing that day and like how I was watching him. I made him think he had a stalker. It was very enjoyable. But like they saw all of it and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm 23. I don't know what to tell you.
This was with a financial.
This was with a small financial brokerage, and they wanted me to hire new. Here's how little I know about the industry.
Yeah.
I don't even know what I'd call it. I've already forgotten what I would call the people I hired, but just financial advisors, basically.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what they did. I sat in on an interview once with someone, and I'm like, oh, man, they don't know how insanely unqualified. We're talking securities, and I'm like, I don't know what those are.
I had a job like that once before
Yeah.
because it wasn't exactly what you were doing, but a friend was studying to become an advisor and was studying for his test. He's like, hey, why don't you come work for me for the summer
Yeah.
in our firm, and you can do some stuff, and that'll take some of the workload off me, and you can do this. I'm like, okay, I'm in communications. I don't know
that's what I had, like a degree in communications.
I'm like, I don't know what any of this, I honestly, I don't care.
Yeah.
But I'll help you out. If you think I can be a help to you,
Yeah.
I will try. And I'll get some drinking money as well.
Yeah.
And so I did it, and like I had this office, and I would close the door and spend 15 minutes of each hour, and I would put a timer out just staring at the wall thinking about how much I hated what I was doing.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And
Yeah,
that-
man. It's just not
Because I was cold calling people to try and
That's
sell them on a
exactly- Yeah,
oh,
that's-
come in for a portfolio review. And I remember the moment I
You
was
were
done.
cold calling people?
I was cold calling. I remember the moment I was done was I was calling someone, hey, this is Chris with UBS Payne Weber. Is Mr. Franklin home? And the lady answered, and she's like, oh, no. Mr. Franklin's been dead for 10 years.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry to
Is
open
this-
that wound.
I apologize. I didn't realize that.
Was
Is
he a
it-
good man?
Is this Mrs. Franklin? Yes, it is. And I went from that moment to, well, Mrs. Franklin, perhaps you'd like to come in for a portfolio. And I
no.
felt this way, and I'm
Gross.
talking, and I'm like,
Yeah,
in my head, I'm like, what am I doing?
Hit the brakes.
And she was like, oh, that, and she was willing to do so, and I'm like,
Oh.
and I just sat there after I got off the phone, and I'm like, I'm quitting tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm like, I don't know what I just did, but it does not feel good, and I
Yeah.
don't want to feel this way
Oh,
anymore.
that's awful.
So I was like, yeah, it was. It was. It was a terrible moment, but at least I will say at least it got me out of there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I can kind of feel I didn't have the same job, but I
You-
can see what you're saying about that kind of industry.
And you know when you're not that person. You just like
Yes.
when my boss sat me down, it was like he took a burden off of me by firing me because I was like, I can't do this job.
Right.
If I do this, if I'm still doing this in 10 years, I'm gonna kill myself and everyone in this office. Like it's not gonna work out for anyone. So that's when I started pursuing comedy like properly. I started. I had been writing my own stuff, some features. And applied at USC for grad school because I was like, I'm not doing anything with my degree.
That's a big move too, man.
What else was I gonna do? I was like, I don't know, why not? See what I also didn't think I would get in, and then I got in, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm moving to California.
Going to California.
And then I just started stand up there because I was either gonna start in New York after I stopped working those jobs, or I was gonna go out west and do it.
Jeez, there's some comments here. Meredith, shout out to Meredith, did a great job at Southtown the other day. Once more close-ups of TK's face. Whatever just happened was adorable. Hang on, Gardner. Camera
there we
3,
go.
go ahead. that one more time on that real quick.
Okay.
Hang
Which
on, wait.
poses do we need?
Okay, give me okay, here we go. Let's work it out. There you go. You're happy. You're pushing the coffee. Maybe taste the coffee a little bit. We'll just do some work here. Ooh, coffee's bad, but now it's not good. You don't like it. It's bad. It's bad coffee. Now
You
you're
guys see my acting chops from
okay.
LA.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see. Now you do get to be on Tosh 1.0 as an actor
I
sometimes.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait. So let's get. What was the guy's name that you called and he was dead?
Oh, Mr. Franklin.
Mr. Franklin.
Franklin.
Can we go back to camera 3?
Yeah.
You've just received news that Mr. Franklin has passed.
Am I? And I'm the cold caller.
You're the cold caller. You're Gardner.
He
died 10 years ago.
I'm sorry. Are you Mrs. Franklin?
I am.
Are you? So you're single?
You could say that.
You sound hot. What are you doing tonight?
It's a real dry patch.
Let's get you back in the game, Mrs. Franklin.
Well, there you go. That's TK Kelly. Give it up for TK, everybody. From Tom in the comments, cold calling blows. Once had a job where I asked for leads and they tossed me the yellow pages. I'll say this as somebody who literally, like, that's all I do is reach out to people cold. Like, yeah, it's really funny to me. It would be like someone being like, I mean, I'm pretty funny at the construction site. I'm going to get up and do 20 minutes of stand-up.
Yeah.
It is funny whenever business owners think that like they could have the intern reach out to like high-level executives and they're going to take meetings and stuff like that. I'm like, would you meet with someone that can't get through a 30-second hello? Like that's not. It's incredibly difficult. And anybody who's ever done it, I cheers to you for giving it.
Yeah,
a
I
whirl.
hated it. Like I was okay. I wasn't great, but I had some bites. But that,
Were you drinking at the time?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
But
You
that probably helped.
Like literally at the time.
Yeah. I
during
mean-
the show, yeah.
Like I had to wear like a tie and I wore cufflinks,
Yeah,
and I
man.
was like,
Not that life.
ooh, like every once in a while that's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I want it to be for an event. I don't want it to be every day of my
Yeah.
life. And the other thing was the guy who like ran that office used to be in like radio in New York or something. And it was like, for some reason here, I should have probably looked into that more and been like, why'd you go from radio New York? All of a sudden you're in like St. Charles, Missouri. What happened in your
What
life?
did you do?
Well, yeah, what happened in your life for this to happen? But he's like, oh, you got to get out of radio. You got to do that. And they're like, oh, we'll do this. We'll have these kind of incentives. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a life for me. Like,
Yeah.
this is not what I'm comfortable with. Now, he was right about getting out of radio, probably. I probably should have heeded that advice.
Who
But,
saw that coming? Imagine being.
but the other stuff I was not on board with.
Yeah.
Imagine in St. Louis is different because our wave is 10 years slower than the other, right? So like it's just now podcasting's been a viable thing for a decade, and just now in St. Louis you have people that own businesses. They're like, okay, all right, I could get behind that.
That seems
But,
legit.
Yeah, and there's still super strong radio here, like serious, like. You just see radio stations in L.A., New York, all these like closed down, and then there's Sirius and all this stuff. But it is interesting to me. Like I think we need to, myself and Jamie Kroc need to maybe do a little bit of a mockumentary on, let's say, a radio station in 1997, like right before the internet starts really picking up for things, because those guys were living the life,
Oh,
man.
yeah,
Like
absolutely.
local celebrities, like big time,
Yeah,
right?
We're
Like,
playing CDs now.
oh yeah, this is the future,
Yeah.
man. Like, oh my God. How about this? And we've got to get back to TK's story. We'll work you through that some more. But you guys, if you have questions, throw them into the comments. I love interacting with you guys, and TK is going to get red or blushy or whatever on this, but I find stuff like he does to be super interesting, and I know a lot of people tuning in are going to have some good questions. So don't hesitate to ask random stuff, and TK will message you personally.
I've been
that's right.
naked on TV a lot, so
Yeah.
I don't get that red face.
We're talking. Is that true?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, most of the appearances I make are it's some variation of physically embarrassing.
Is your penis that impressive that
oh,
they want
yes,
you on
yes.
there?
No, I mean,
the
obviously,
crew is like,
that's-
let's see that dick.
Get it out. It's a funny thing that whenever people bring it up, like that's one of the biggest questions I get asked is like, are you guys really naked when this is happening? Like, no. Why would I be? Like, they're gonna blur it out anyway. That
Yeah.
would just be unnecessary.
That would be the guy who's shredded, who just the second the temperature goes over 78 degrees.
Yeah,
woo,
let's pop the shirt off.
Take it, yeah, even
but
if
no,
it-
we're filming in a freezing cold studio, and I'm wearing nude colored
briefs.
So.
Okay. Danny asked, do writers on Tosh try to get on camera? Seems like punishment most of the time.
It is. I mean,
Like you wrote, like, you know what, you didn't turn in your best work this week.
it's this weird balance of like when you're in a lot, it seems good because you're like, well, they have faith in me that I can do this. I can
Right.
play this little part and get a laugh. But it's also like, man, he loves to embarrass the
And
writers.
he is, and
loves it.
And again, too, Tosh is so the way this stuff works, and we can break this down more, but overview for now. Tosh is involved in everything,
Yeah,
in every
yeah.
aspect of his show,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah, super
some shows
involved.
you would have him kind of just walk in, show up, do the show. He's involved in every joke, everything, right?
And when someone writes a piece and they have this other part in it, he's very quick to pick out who he thinks not only will be good for the part and be funny, but who probably doesn't want to do it. And the writers do
all
it too,
the writers
back and forth.
are all
We
the writers
write-
stand-ups.
No, not all of them. There's a few of us. But
Everybody's comedically talented.
Yes,
Yeah.
very funny writing staff, and people really enjoy writing parts for each other. Be like, well, you know, I had so and so in mind for this because I want to see him have to do that on television. Like, it's probably not as funny to everyone else as it is to us.
Right.
But we're like, I want to see this guy naked on TV for sure.
Oh my gosh, Meredith is really killing in the comments. Amazing acting. Is there anywhere we can see TK performing tonight?
No, Meredith.
He may hit an open mic or two, but I doubt it. Yeah.
I was giving my esteemed co-host here a little crap for I hadn't realized we scheduled some shows while I was in town.
Yeah.
Super helpful. Thank you, by the way, for
Yeah,
all of
obviously,
that.
yeah.
But he was mentioned the Heavy Anchor on Monday.
So it's so Monday nights, just so everybody knows, like even if you're a big huge name, like Monday nights are a horrible time to do a comedy show.
Yeah.
Period. So I lovingly said, hey, Heavy Anchor is a great thing. This guy Chad hosts a fun open mic. There'll be a crowd.
I
and
might
you
have
can go
missed
get
the
some
open
time
mic
in.
part. I didn't hear that.
I said, yeah, Heavy Anchor. It's a late show. You can pop in, do some time.
I put it in my calendar. It was on the official tour poster. I can only imagine all the shit I'm going to catch for that.
So in the comedy world, you don't put open mics on your schedule.
I only put open mics on my posters, and I will be signing them at the Heavy Anchor tonight.
Again, there's nothing wrong with the Heavy. It's a great.
I've
open
heard
mic.
it's great.
Yeah.
It's, you just don't
But
you don't
there was
promote
there was
open mics
and
as your show.
as-
I'm a headlining guy. So
on Saturday, as he realized it was an open mic, and I was like, yeah, and he was like, it's on my poster. So
it was a proud moment
and
in comedy.
I had saw
That's
it
where
on
I'm
his
at, guys.
I had seen it on his poster, and I was like, oh, that's nice of him to throw
Oh,
them a
good
bone.
for
Yeah,
him.
some
Ugh.
promotion.
I can't believe
Yeah.
you didn't point it out when you saw it on my poster.
I was like, hey, good for you, man.
this guy's really trying to fill out the schedule. Jeez.
So yes, so that's what happened. So Yeah, back to your, I guess, journey. Let's get back to this. So you go out to LA, you jump in at USC in what would be one of the best grad school programs in the world for for entertainment
certainly
purposes.
the most expensive. Good Lord.
Your parents didn't pull any strings with
No,
that dude?
my parents didn't pull any strings. They didn't get me on the crew team. They didn't get me one of those fake scholarships. They didn't help at all.
Yeah.
So I did that. I was there for 2 years. It was great.
What was the program?
It was, so at the time there were 2 screenwriting programs. Another thing I didn't know I applied to what I thought was USC's screenwriting program. Didn't realize there was 2 of them. There was one where it's like you're applying to the film school with like a screenwriting concentration. And then there was another one where you're applying to the School of Arts and Letters with a screenwriting concentration. I did the latter and got there and I was like, oh, there's another, I didn't even know. This is how informed. This is how I make decisions, guys. I moved across the country.
So you want to be a staff writer for Comedy Central?
Didn't even know.
Yeah.
But it was great. It was a good program. Some great professors. I got to work with a writer for The Simpsons, which is my favorite show of all time.
Who's the writer?
Michael Price, who is now the co-creator and showrunner of Bill Burr's F is for Family.
Oh my God! Have you seen that, Gardner?
Oh, hilarious.
Gardner's not a guy who watches things, but
I have not.
What do you do?
It's so good. It's so good.
It is. I've heard you and I've heard 2 other people tell me about that one. So that would go on the list of things that, like, if I'm going to go and invest in something to watch, I know it's hard for me just to get over watching Bob's Burgers over and over, which is normally my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great show too.
Yeah.
But it would be, I would put F is for Family probably right below Barry in terms of
Barry's
things
great.
that I
you
want to
have
watch.
to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I've heard enough about and people's opinions that I respect in those regards for that kind of information. Those are probably, there's probably another one in there. I can't remember what it is, but those are probably 2 of the shows that I would get invested in.
Yeah, it makes sense. So you're working with Michael Price.
Yeah, I mean, when I started seeing, all right, I'm getting like legit professors here who actually do this for
So
like
he was
he
through
kinda did it-
USC?
Yeah, he just did it as like he just did it for a semester.
Wow.
He's a super nice guy and was very enthusiastic about sharing his knowledge. So it was like, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to help some younger people out, help people get into this industry. So he was great, and I had some great internships while I was there. I managed to get an internship at Comedy Central and one at Conan, and I've been the biggest Conan fan my whole life. So it was great. It was a good experience.
No, you're not going past those internships, pal. We got another hour to fill. We got to talk about the internships.
I'm gonna go.
Well, when you so
Let's
at this
talk
point
more
you're
about my finance job.
at this point you're 24.
I think I was, by the time I came out, because I worked for a few years in finance, and then after that I started just bartending for a couple years and started writing on my own to prepare to have something to submit to schools. So I think when I got out here, I was 27, maybe?
To LA.
Yeah.
So jumping into, I mean, even though those are big time names and everything, was it a little bit difficult or weird being an intern at 27? I mean,
It was.
Is that the norm, or were there 19-year-olds also?
It was a lot of undergrad students, but
Okay.
honestly, it gave me a huge leg up because I wasn't an idiot.
Right.
Like, I knew how badly I wanted to be there.
Yeah.
And a lot of them maybe didn't at the
and you
time.
knew the opportunity that was in
Yes,
front of
exactly.
you. Yeah.
And there was also some grad students who kind of had more of a similar mindset to myself. And because of that, I kind of got a lot of trust put in me. At Comedy Central, that internship was in development, so I was just reading a lot of scripts, which was great. It was great.
Did you get to pass or fail any scripts?
I did, which is
As an
insane.
intern?
Insane.
That's scary.
That's Hollywood,
Hey,
guys.
kids.
They're like, hey,
There's your Hollywood
should
behind the
should I
scenes.
read this guy I just met from grad school? I'm like, yeah, you should read it because someone worked really hard on it, and you should give it a chance. Don't ask me my opinion. But, yeah, I did. I read a ton, learned a lot quickly about what to do and what not to do when it came to writing a pilot. And then at Conan, I got the writer's monologue internship. So I got to actually write all of the setups for the monologue jokes.
Wow.
I had to find all the news stories, and then I had to write the setup, and then we'd send those to the writers, and they'd insert joke.
Were you just flipping out? At
That was
first time?
amazing. I was so happy because I was when I found out that was an opportunity as opposed to just being a general intern, doing whatever, getting coffee, and it's fine. And I did some of that for sure, but when I saw that was one of the internships and you had to like take a test to prove you could do it, I was like, if I don't get this, I'm going to hate whoever gets it and hate the rest of the internship because I'm going to be thinking about how I should have been working with the writers.
What's that test like?
It was honestly just get on the internet, find a bunch of stories from today, and write the setups, and just see if they're any good. Because you know, a lot, and if you don't know late night well enough, you're not going to know instinctively how to do that.
You're not going to speak that language.
Yeah. But for me, it was like I had been watching Conan in all of his different iterations for years, so I was like, I'll be all right at this.
What was the feeling the first time that your words were uttered on TV? That they made like that setup? You're like, I wrote it. It was me.
I was also like, and that's the kind of joke I would have written too. That's what I would have gone with. Conan gets it. It was.
We're
cool,
Simpsons
man.
guys. Conan,
it was really cool. It was a big deal, and it was pretty early on in my time in LA, so it definitely set me on like
just
a course of actually
ego.
Well, just actually believing I could do it.
Right.
You know, there was this. Moving out there, it was a little bit like, this might be the biggest mistake of my life. I might be back in 2 years with my tail between my legs. But I started to see, like, I can do this. I can definitely do something in this industry.
Gardner, you perked up a little bit back there. Is Conan?
Well,
Conan's on your list.
Conan's always been my late night guy for as long as
He's the guy, man.
I mean,
he's the best.
And I don't care what changes or whatever the new landscape is or what. We've seen all the changes there have been in the past, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
He was my guy and has always been.
He's
going to be. I think
he's Conan. He's his own thing.
He's
always done it his own way. They always had such a fun, weird, offbeat show compared to everyone else. I always loved it.
And there are memories I have of that show where I'm, up past my bedtime or whatever, and mom and dad are sound asleep, and I start laughing, and I get yelled at.
Oh yeah,
for.
I used to.
And I still remember one particular joke from what it was in the year 2000.
Oh, my favorite bit.
Why is that so
bit.
funny?
Oh my God!
Why is that
amazing.
so funny?
Because La Bamba's got that amazing voice.
And I still remember it. It was Andy Richter delivering it in the year 2000. Kermit and Miss Piggy will break up before Kermit will convert to Judaism and is no longer able to eat pork. And I started losing it laughing.
Yeah,
that joke
so
right
great,
there
man.
in the year 2000 got me in trouble because, what are you doing up?
Yep.
Go to bed.
Yeah, that was exactly who I was. I would sneak out. We had like a little TV in the kitchen, and I would pull a stool right up to it and just sit directly in front of it and watch Conan. And they could do things. They could get away with a little more because it was on later. They could say things like that that
Hey,
Leno
bear.
would never say that. You know,
Yeah.
it was just a different environment. I loved it.
And like masturbating bear.
Yes.
There's still one of those is indelible in
Absurd.
mine. It's like McGuire's record-breaking home run lands in masturbating bear's lap, and everyone reaches for the ball, and he just starts cheering. And I'm like that's another one that gets me in trouble. So it's like
I was such a big fan that
he's so smart too.
I geeked out when I went there and met Pierre Bernard, who did Pierre Bernard's Recliner of Rage. I don't know if you remember that bit, but he's this very meek, quiet editor on the show. Or no, I think he actually does maybe the graphic stuff on the show. Super artistic guy, super nice. But when I met him, I was like, he's a celebrity.
Yeah.
This is just a guy who had the most mellow personality. So they put him in a recliner and had him talk about what he was raging about, and I loved it so much.
And there's I think it's because I enjoy just stupid and ridiculous too.
Exactly.
Like when they had, I can't remember the actor's name, but he would come out and he'd be, I've got bulletproof legs. I've got bulletproof legs.
Oh,
and he's
yeah,
dancing around, and then someone would just shoot him like in the chest or something.
Was that Brian? There's Brian Stack was there for years. Super funny guy. And then they had those regular recurring and most of them were writers on the show.
Yes.
And they were so funny. I think Brian Stack is on Fallon now. Just one of the nicest dudes in the world, and so funny.
Is Michael Schur the best writer to screen story we've ever seen? Was he Mose on The Office? What's that guy's name?
Oh man, I think so, right?
Yeah.
That was.
And he has like a $25 million development deal now. He did Parks and Rec, I believe.
Oh yeah, he does everything. Like he's amazing.
He's
got like
crazy.
7 different shows in the pipeline now. I keep just seeing things pop up. Yeah. I'm like, how many jobs can one man have?
That's what's so interesting to me, because if you're just a casual watcher of The Office, you're probably like, oh, that's probably just a guy who's been in a couple had a couple acting things, got a bit part where he doesn't really talk, and then all of a sudden he's the biggest writer in the history of the world.
Well,
It's
yeah, and you don't
crazy.
realize that so often like those bit parts are played by the writers. When they
And
know
are a
somebody
big
there
deal.
can play it, it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, he can do that. And I mean, Mindy Kaling was a writer on The Office too. It was,
Right.
She was also a major part on it. So
Suffered greatly when she was gone for a
Yeah,
season. But
yeah.
I did that happened to me too. I got the opportunity to meet somebody. You're talking about like whenever you see a writer and it's like, oh my God, you're a celebrity. Our friend Tim made the mistake of taking us to an after party for a Not Safe with Nikki Glazer show after a taping, and he introduced us to his buddy Frank, and he goes, oh, you guys have probably seen some of Frank's stuff, and like I'm standing there in a place in LA, and he goes, Frank wrote Dirty Work.
Oh my God, dude! I just rewatched Dirty Work like 6 months ago. I
It's
love
so
that
good.
movie. I love that
And
movie.
it's just this little guy with hair to his ass, long hair, just, hey guys, how are you? And I literally like almost passed out. I was like, you wrote that with Norm? And he's like, yeah, man, I work for Comedy Central. And I'm like, hey, nice to meet you. And I was like, you did a lot for me back then, man.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
I
Dirty
was
Work
so
was
excited,
one of
too.
the recurring, like, I watched the hell out of that DVD when I was a
I
teenager.
think
good.
I don't know why, but I think that might be a litmus test, one of those movie litmus tests I use on people.
Oh, absolutely. If somebody likes that movie, I'm like, I get you. I can be on board
Because
with
there's a couple of them. Like one of them, like when my girlfriend and I, we dated now for just over 4 years, and she hadn't seen Dirty Work, and so I'm like, oh, okay, well let's watch it one night. We watched it. She laughed. She liked it. I'm like, okay, this might
and
work
like,
out.
insanely stupid, right?
Yeah.
This is an insanely stupid movie, but in
Correct.
all the right ways.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Like she might ask questions like, why is? She's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. So I think it's kind of one of those litmus test movies for me. I think I use The Great Outdoors the same way.
Yeah, that's funny.
Guys, it's been a fun first hour. We've got TK Kelly in. You know him. He writes for Comedy Central's Tosh.0. He's a stand-up comedian doing some dates throughout the Midwest and then heading over to the East Coast. So we're very excited to have him in today. Big thanks to Tech Electronics for making this studio possible. The mics, the cameras, everything you see in here. Tech Electronics, local business here to help you or your business for security and tech needs. That's Tech Electronics. You can find them online, Facebook page, the website, whatever you need, they are there for you. Great local company. Thanks to Tech Electronics. And thanks to TK for being in here. We're going to come back, take a quick break. We got another hour live on We Are Live. Thanks, everybody.